I shall give you a boy who will be your grandson. This is the magnificent divine prophecy received by his grandfather, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the promised Messiah. His father, Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih II, announced on the 26th of September 1909, Allah has given me the glad tiding that I will be blessed with a son who will be a Nasir-ud-Din, helper of faith. He will be committed to serving Islam. It is also said that he, the Messiah, shall die and his kingdom descend to his son and the grandson. These prophecies were fulfilled in the person of Hazrat Hafiz Mirza Nasir Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih III.
ए नासिर दीन तेरी यादें हैं क़ल्बो नज़र का सरमाया इन यादों से हम जीते जी यादों के चमन महकाएंगे
Hazrat Hafiz Mirza Nasir Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih III, was born to Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad and Hazrat Sayyida Nasir Mahmuda Begum Sahiba on the 16th of November 1909 in Qadian. Under the directions of his revered father, he committed the whole of the Holy Quran to memory at the age of 13 in 1922. He learned Arabic and Urdu from Hazrat Maulvi Sarvar Shah Sahib.
Hadhrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Sahib, the Khalifatul Masih III, was a highly educated person, not only in religious education but also in secular education. He joined the Madrasa Ahmadiyya, which is a school for Arabic and religious teachings. He passed from there and joined Jamia Ahmadiyya, from where he did his Maulvi Fazil degree from the Punjab University. He stood third in Maulvi Fazil examination and got top numbers. After the completion of his Arabic education as Maulvi Fazil, he joined the Government College at Lahore. He did his BA from the Government College, Lahore, and then his father, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, decided that he should be sent to England for further education.
On the 5th of August 1934, he was married to Hazrat Sayyida Mansura Begum Sahiba, who was the daughter of Hazrat Nawab Muhammad Ali Khan Sahib and Hazrat Sayyida Nawab Mubaraka Begum Sahiba. He then proceeded to England on the 6th of September 1934 for postgraduate studies at Balliol College, Oxford, and in due course obtained the honours degree of the University of Oxford and later became Master of Arts of the university. While in England, he started the publication of a quarterly magazine, Al-Islam. After completing his education, he returned to India on the 9th of November 1938. A few years later, he was to become principal of the prestigious TI College, Rabwa. One of his next appointments was to the post of the president of the Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya organization. In 1953, mass riots took place in Pakistan due to Ahmadi opposition. In November 1954, he was appointed president of Majlis Ansarullah. During his tenure as president, he infused a new life into the organization. In May 1955, he served as the president of the Sadr Anjuman Ahmadiyya, which office, though honorary, involved the discharge of heavy responsibilities at the center of the organizational pattern of the movement. He carried out the arduous responsibilities of the president diligently, remaining in this position until his election as the Khalifa 10 years later. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II passed away at 2 a.m. on the 8th of November 1965. The members of the community converged in large numbers upon Rabwa. The college met in a deeply prayerful mood, and Sahibzada Mirza Nasir Ahmad Sahib, eldest son of the departed Khalifatul Masih, was elected Khalifatul Masih III by an overwhelming majority of the Electoral College. All the members of the Electoral College entered afresh into covenant of allegiance on his blessed hand. He made a brief address, and then all those who were outside of the Masjid Mubarak, numbering well over 5,000, took the oath of allegiance. As soon as the choice of the Electoral College became known, it was universally felt as if comfort and consolation were descending upon every heart from heaven. On the 9th of November at 4:30 p.m. at the Bahishti Maqbara, Rabwa, the funeral led by the newly elected Khalifa was a deeply moving experience for everyone. One of the most important projects, which was also initiated during the early days of his Khilafat, was the setting up of the Fazl-e-Ummal Foundation in memory of Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih II on the 21st of December 1965. A new building was constructed for the Khilafat Library in Rabwa, which was one of the projects envisioned by the foundation. On the 12th of March 1966, Huzur introduced the short-term dedication project known as the Waqf-e-Arz. In 1967, Huzur travelled to Europe for the first time after becoming Khalifatul Masih. This journey was beneficial in many aspects and significant according to an earlier glad tiding given by God Almighty. Ominous signs of God's support and succor were observed by all. He visited Germany, Switzerland, Holland, Denmark and England. Whilst in Copenhagen, Huzur inaugurated the Nusrat Jahan Mosque on the 21st of July 1967. While in London, he attended the 4th annual convention, known as the Jalsa Salana of the Ahmadiyya community in the United Kingdom. This was the first annual convention of the community in the United Kingdom graced by a Khalifa. Huzur addressed the Jalsa on the 30th of July 1967.
Africa has to play a very important role in the life of man in times to come.
On the 4th of April 1970, Huzur embarked on a 9-week tour of West Africa. He visited Nigeria, Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Liberia, Gambia and Sierra Leone. Large Ahmadiyya communities had flourished in these countries for quite some time. Members had longed to see Huzur in person. At last, their intense desire was fulfilled. African Ahmadi men, women, children and even elderly travelled long distances to see Huzur. They chanted heartwarming religious poems and uplifting slogans in their traditional ways. Huzur's inspiring speeches strengthened their faith. During Huzur's epic travel to this continent, many eminent personalities of African countries had audience with Huzur and attended the receptions given in his honor. They readily acknowledged educational, social as well as spiritual services rendered by the movement. Newspapers, radio and television gave wide coverage to his travels. In a nutshell, this journey was a tremendous success in many respects. In fact, it heralded a new era of preaching in West Africa. At the end of his visit to West Africa, he arrived in London, and in his Friday sermon of the 24th of May 1970 at the Fazl Mosque, gave a brief account of the impressions he had gathered in West Africa. He announced a scheme that he had conceived under divine direction of expanding the activities of the movement in West Africa through the establishment of a substantial number of schools and hospitals, which were a great need for the people of Africa. In 1970, Huzur again visited Europe to oversee and accelerate the diverse activities of the Jamaat. During this tour, he visited the United Kingdom, Holland, Switzerland, West Germany and Spain. The highlight of the tour was the opening ceremony of the Mahmud Mosque in Zurich on the 5th of April 1970. During this tour, a large hall adjacent to the Fazl Mosque in London was also inaugurated by Huzur on the 23rd of May 1970. It was built in memory of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II and was named after him as the Mahmud Hall. The foundation stone of this hall was laid by Huzur on the 30th of July 1967. The hall played a vital role in the progress of the community when it became the hub of the operations for the community's global television channel, MTA International. Huzur toured Spain for the first time from the 25th of May to the 1st of June 1970. During this tour, Allah revealed to him that in future times to come, the Jamaat will have tremendous success and expansion in Spain, which was unthinkable at the time. On the 31st of March 1972, Huzur inaugurated the magnificent Al-Aqsa Mosque in Rabwa, accommodating over 150,000 worshippers. The Ahmadiyya movement was formally initiated in March 1889 and completed its first century in March 1989. Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih III made an announcement concerning the celebration of the centenary of the movement in the annual conference of 1973, in which he enumerated a number of projects which he had in mind in connection with the centenary. Huzur called upon the community to pledge the amount of 25 million rupees to finance the projects and the celebration of the centenary. The pledges, however, received in this respect were 4 times the requested amount. In 1973, Huzur embarked upon his 3rd European tour. He visited the UK, Holland, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Sweden and Denmark. The bigoted section of Orthodox Muslim divines in Pakistan were much perturbed by the announcements of Huzur concerning the centenary celebrations. Time after time, the plans that they had devised for the purpose of stopping the progress of the movement had been frustrated. By the grace and mercy of God, and from each trial, the movement had emerged in greater strength and spirit. Rather than learning a lesson from their repeated experiences, their bitterness and hostility towards the movement had continued to mount, and the announcement of the centenary celebrations put them in a mood of desperation. In July 1976, Huzur paid a visit to Ahmadi communities in the United States and Canada. Huzur arrived in Washington on the 25th of July 1976 and visited New York, Dayton and New Jersey. This was the first time that an Ahmadi Khalifa had travelled to this part of the world. This was indeed a very successful visit. Various Ahmadis got the opportunity of meeting with the exalted personage and benefiting from his sublime discourses. In 1980, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih again travelled to Europe. Huzur inaugurated the Nur Mosque in Oslo, Norway on the 1st of August 1980. The highlight of this tour was the laying of the foundation stone of the Basharat Mosque in Pedroabad, near Cordoba, Spain, on the 9th of October 1980. This was the first mosque to be built in Spain, 700 years after the Spanish Inquisition. On this occasion, he announced the magnificent Islamic motto, "Love for all, hatred for none." Later, Huzur travelled to Canada and the United States. This was Huzur's last tour of any country outside Pakistan.
Hazrat Sayyida Mansoora Begum Sahiba, the first wife of Khalifatul Masih Salis Rahimullah, passed away after a brief illness on the 3rd of December, 1981.
I think on the 11th of April in 1982, he had the nikah and he was married to Sayyida Tahira Siddiqa Sahiba, and she is the daughter of a very devout Ahmadi. His name was Abdul Majid Khan Sahib of Veeraval, and this was again in April 1982.
In June 1982, while Huzur was visiting Islamabad, he suffered a severe heart attack. He passed away on the 9th of June 1982 at 12:45 p.m. in Islamabad at the age of 73. May his soul rest in peace. Huzur's passing was a grievous loss to the community, but everyone bore the tremendous loss with fortitude, keeping in view the sublime teachings of Islam. During the 17 years of his Khilafat, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih III, with his unique leadership and strength, was certainly able to expand and serve the Jamaat remarkably.